Thanks.
Representing.
This is fun.
Yeah.
I haven't even started, and this is fun.
Well, we've been on a pretty good run. We're at
this is 31.
6 months. Yes, episode 31.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
1 week straight,
so-
if you think about it.
That's consistency.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, getting people together this many weeks in a row is more difficult than I thought. So,
Right?
congrats to us.
Better than like every D&D campaign I've ever been a part of.
Right.
So
Totally. Like, how many weeks can we get in a row?
All right.
2,
None.
maybe?
0. 1 week off.
Yeah. And
Maybe.
and then the whole thing goes to shit
Yeah.
from there. So we all know how that goes. All right. So, anybody have any questions before we start?
What are we talking about?
You can punch him.
I have a sharp pencil right here.
Okay, John Wick.
That's all right. Well, I was kind of hoping Eddie would be here because he's a huge Deadpool fan. You guys would have like a nerd off.
Man.
Well,
maybe
but
next
since
time.
you're here, you can take over his like, can you do dad jokes? We got.
We'll see.
We're
We'll see.
We're lacking in dad jokes.
Being put on the spot is kind of hard for me.
We're never lacking in dad jokes. Trust me.
They always
Sam,
come out
Sam,
somehow.
Sam can cover a little bit of that for sure.
Perfect.
Well, we got Gunny too.
True enough. True enough. Hello and welcome to episode 31 of No Outside Food Allowed. We're here to talk about all the news and entertainment. Today that includes a brand new Bond, a Batwoman, the Oscars changing it up, our special guest Minh and Kaela from Critical Care Comics. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
I'm Adam. Today I will be the Leonard of this group of Big Bang Theory nerds.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right. My fellow nerds,
The Leonard.
Chris Felix.
I should know these characters. There's a comic book store owner.
Oh,
That was that
What's his
guy.
name?
Dang. that's
My
a
wife
good one.
watches this every night. I should know this. I'm so
Stuart.
disappointed.
That's
Stuart. Yeah, I'll be that
Stuart.
guy. Stuart.
No one likes Stuart. No one likes Stuart.
I know. I just,
Sam Lim.
Sheldon.
Sheldon, you're going there, huh?
That make you
Chris
Penny?
Gagne.
I would have to be Penny. Like, no, I could be Amy
Oh,
Fairfowler.
you could be Amy.
Chris
She does
going
have
with
my
Howard.
heart as a
You're
biologist.
gonna go with Amy.
So.
That makes sense.
I'm Kuthar Polly.
Kuthar Polly. Amy would be the Kuthar Polly of the group.
what about
Guys, this
Gagne?
week?
I'm going to take Howard.
He's got that style. Got to match his
Going to
shoes and
space.
shirt and-
I don't know if that's style, though.
It's not style.
I don't think
no?
it's style.
That's like, I don't know. There's some kind of color coordination going there.
That's a lot of color coordination.
It's
a lot of work.
skills. That's skills, bro.
just for the nerd confidence, mainly. Just,
Hey, you gotta get
he's a very
confidence from
confident
somewhere.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're a nerd.
You need confidence if you're a nerd.
What have you been up to, guys, this week?
I rewatched the Dark Knight trilogy.
Nice.
Enjoyed the heck out of it again.
Okay.
I really wish that they would pick up after that, because I would love to see Robin taking over the mantle.
Sure.
Like, just the way Nolan ended it, I forgot how amazing it was. Like,
Kind of like a mic drop. He's just like, wait, what happened?
Like he leaves him a packet.
Nobody's ever finished this story
and
before.
the lady's like, that's your real name? You should use that. And then, like, he's going through spelunking, and then, boom, he finds
The cave.
The cave, yeah.
And I was like, man, I wonder what could have been. What could have
Totally.
been.
There's a good ending to it.
I think that's what he wanted you to do, though, was what could have been.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
your own
Nolan's
story
good
out of it.
for, diving into
Yeah.
your head.
But especially nowadays, they really need Nolan. Like, they really need to bring him back to save DC. Because DC
Hey,
is destroying
I'm all
itself
for that.
from within, sadly. Like, the way they're just kind of overhyping everything, I'm so worried, Like the Marvel versus DC battle.
Well,
There's hope on the horizon.
I know Kayla's a big fan of Aquaman. What do you
yeah,
think is
I'm
coming
really
up?
excited. This December, this is my Christmas present right here. Like, I am ready.
you hear that? Aquaman's a Christmas movie now.
Yeah, it is. December 21st, I think, is the release date. It's
It
like
is.
right around the
Yeah,
corner.
sure.
So I am so prepared for this movie. I've been waiting years.
You
like they
and every
released
other lady in the world.
Yeah.
we're gonna make this movie in like 2015, and I was like, I have to wait 3 years for this. Are you kidding me?
Is it,
so we're
you think
here.
it's going to be worth the wait?
I think so. I'm ready.
I think Momoa looks awesome.
I think they did a really great job, like casting him. Honestly, just from the trailer, like
Yeah.
I feel like it really hits home with Aquaman. Like, obviously I read Aquaman, so I know kind of his story and everything. And I just think they're doing a really good job, so we'll see.
Kaela's a huge marine buff.
I am,
so
yeah.
she's
I'm a
actually
biologist. I work as an aquarist, so...
She actually got a job later being a mermaid.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's
got some cool
Aquaman though?
things.
Like,
Shut up.
What?
You're the worst.
I do that.
So is this a trolling show? If we're trolling,
can
just let
be.
me know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Always.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was gonna say though, this is the one time now that no one can make fun of Aquaman anymore. You know, Aquaman was always the butt of everyone's jokes.
Yep.
Not anymore.
I'm
They're
waiting.
This could change.
guy's too
This
buff.
could change. Like,
This
I'm
guy's
still
too buff.
gonna make fun of Aquaman.
he's like, I'm still jumping on that
I'm
boat.
still doing it.
Talk to
I mean, he
fish.
does still talk to dolphins, so
It's his one main power.
I think once this movie comes out, it'll be less Super Friends, more Momoa, and I'm really, really
yeah.
ready for it.
Yeah.
How are you
I'm
gonna
ready for
feel
that
if it
shit.
does tank?
I'm gonna be pretty sad. Yeah, I'll probably still
Well,
like
what do you
be that
consider
one
tank?
person that's like, this is
Did
great.
Justice League tank? In your opinion?
In like box office genre way, like their technical terms, but I don't think it tanked.
Yeah, it still made $100 million.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's still a great number, but compared to the line that every other superhero movie's drawn now, like that's
well, the bar
way
is set
beneath
pretty
standard.
high with Marvel.
Marvel, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Amazing
definitely.
Spider-Man 2 tanked, like
Right.
quote unquote tanked,
Technically.
but it still made a lot of money.
It's a terrible movie. My God.
that's why they
I
don't
also-
continue it.
It's got flashbacks of Paul Giamatti as that Rhino.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's
Hey.
pretty bad.
Not worse than Spider-Man 3 in the musical scene.
Ugh.
Well, the
let's
emo
not
When
go
he,
Peter
there.
when he
Parker.
starts dancing.
I mean,
that whole
shit
movie
was
was
a
an
nightmare.
atrocity. So it doesn't.
Symbiote makes you emo, apparently.
symbiote.
Oh god.
Symbio.
However, I will say though that Aquaman and Shazam looks very promising. Like Shazam,
Yes.
Shazam looks
Yes.
has an awesome vibe of big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a kid who turns to superhero, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I have powers!"
Yeah.
Like that looks very family friendly.
Yeah, he's playing that one off well.
Yeah.
I actually finished up Cloak and Dagger. Did anybody watch that?
Oh, wow.
I
shit, was it
started Cloak and
Cloak
Dagger.
did?
Yeah.
Started it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually
I started
enjoyed it. I thought they played off like the duality of the two very well, the light and
Yeah.
dark, the
Okay.
yin and yang type of thing. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of, good versus bad.
Yeah, no,
it was more like them
between the
going
two.
against their kind of society and what brought them
Yeah.
together. But it was still decent. I actually liked it. Made
For
it
me,
through
it's
all
just a
10.
little bit of a slow start, so I couldn't really get
Yeah,
into
it is
too
a little
much
bit of a
yet.
slow start.
So
They
Where
don't really
did
get
you
their
watch it
powers
at?
till about maybe episode 6.
Yeah.
So
How,
Exactly.
Or where did you watch it on?
I watched it through Sling, which has the Freeform channel.
Okay, so it's on Freeform.
How many episodes was the season?
10.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I heard it got like pretty dark actually. Like it was straight far from
It
like
was
that CW
definitely
vibe.
different than I thought it was going to be coming on Freeform.
Really?
It was not CW at all. like there was no like
That's a good thing. That's a good
teen
thing.
angst drama. It was a little more serious than I thought it was going to be.
Did you see Runaways?
Parts of it.
Was it kind of
Yeah.
like that? Because I mean, I thought Runaways is okay, but I just sort of drifted off towards the end. It kind of got a little campy for me personally, and I just
How many
didn't really
episodes
back
did you
into
get
it.
into?
I got like
for
halfway
Runaways?
through it. I mean,
Same
it was just
here.
fine. It was just
I-
like I don't really care. I guess I just sort of drifted off, unfortunately.
No characters that you were like.
yeah,
really
after a while, I was like,
kinda-
eh,
Well,
okay.
it's so much teen angst. I couldn't handle it. I was like, cool, I'm done.
That's all
Like,
CW
halfway
is
through.
right now.
Teen
Right.
angst?
Yeah, I don't watch anything on CW anymore. Flash or Arrow or
That's
which
same with
actually
me.
we can jump right into. Arrow's gonna have a new Batwoman. We can just jump right in there. It's gonna be
Yep.
Ruby Rose, right? So if you've seen Orange is the New Black, you know
No.
that she's
She was in John Wick too. Also, she was.
wasn't John
Yeah,
Wick.
she was
shit.
in Triple X too, the new one.
Oh,
Triple
yeah,
X,
yeah.
I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
So
With
she's
Donnie Yen.
got her.
That's the only reason why I saw
Yeah,
it.
we love Donnie Yen, so
Dude,
That's the
I
man.
was so surprised. I saw his buff arms. I'm like, oh my god, your arms are
he's
bigger than Vin Diesel.
ridiculous.
Like, I enjoyed the fact that Donnie Yen was whooping so much ass. I'm like, please let him be the good guy. I
Yeah.
don't care. Just,
Exactly.
Just give me more
let him
Donnie
do
Yen.
it. Just-
Have you watched all the Ip Man movies with him?
Yes.
We were
Oh
just
my
talking
god!
about
You know
that,
they're making a
actually.
new one, right?
We just talked about this last week.
Oh my
how
gosh.
it's him versus Jackie Chan. It's
yeah,
gonna be so
that's
amazing.
gonna be so good.
Because they just got done filming it 2 weeks ago.
Like
So-
it's got done in general. The whole
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Oh,
So it's
that's
in
awesome.
post.
It's done.
Yeah,
So
we're
now-
definitely looking forward
Yeah,
to
so
that.
now they're
excited.
editing, and it should be out next year.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
marathoned all three of those movies like
Yeah,
2 weekends
we
ago.
did.
Dude, they're
We
so
told them to
good,
watch
man.
it.
They didn't have to tell me. I'm like, I'm gonna watch it. I'm like, oh my god, these are like the greatest things
Yeah,
ever.
they're
Like,
really good.
he just makes it look so easy, man. He has
Oh, yeah.
such a zen
He's
look
so
about the
fast.
way he does everything.
Well,
Oh,
the one
he's
thing
so
I like
amazing.
about it's very Goku and Bulma because like he's fighting and I was like, I'm sorry, I'll replace it.
No,
I don't mean to
Chi-Chi.
break it. No, Chi-Chi, yeah. Like the fighting is so ridiculous because every time he's fighting, he's like apologizing to his wife, and it's just
Yep.
funny,
Oh
funny
yeah,
balance.
yeah.
And there's a little kid that comes out and he's like, "Stop breaking stuff. Or fight. If you don't fight harder, Mom says you're gonna break everything." Shit like that. That's funny. Anyway, we tangented there. Back to
sorry
Ruby
about
Rose.
that.
She's got her action chops. You know, she's done a few things. Now she's gonna be the new Batwoman in the CW's crossover event with all of their heroes. I think it's an awesome casting.
Wait, so I thought she was getting her own show. Or is she
That's what they're heading towards, but they're starting with the crossover that.
Correct. They're gonna have her own little show, kind of like what they did with the Flash. And the other kind of with Legends. You know, they kind of throw them in.
I forgot about that show.
Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cameos. There's a lot of cameos.
I actually enjoy Legends of Tomorrow because they don't take themselves serious. They know it's a goofy ass show, so they deliver on it. And the fact that they just keep taking characters from other shows and bring them back,
Right.
Like this next season coming up, Constantine's getting more episodes now,
I like that.
and he outsact the whole staff, dude.
Oh, they brought him back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the rejects show. They,
It is.
the guy that
definitely.
gets like kicked off or like dies or like leaves the city. Right? They all end up going
Exactly.
to Legends of Tomorrow. Right?
So honestly, I don't know a lot about the Batwoman character. Can you guys like sort of explain like who is she? What exactly does
She
she do?
is a mute, if I remember correctly. She's a mute, and
Actually,
she's,
that's a different Batgirl.
Oh,
is the
this
new one.
Batgirl?
Yeah.
That's, isn't
so-
that Black
okay.
Bat?
There's
Isn't
a
that her
couple of
name,
different
Black Bat?
Batgirls now, but this one specifically is the only Batwoman. Her name's Kate Kane. She's actually the first lesbian superhero in comics, and now they have a well-known LGBTQ actress
yeah.
playing her now. So I think that alone is going to add to the hype of it.
I heard she already like deactivated her Twitter and her Instagram comments because people are already kind
I
of
heard
like giving her
that
a lot of
too.
shit.
Yeah.
Smart move. Smart
I mean,
move.
I feel like that's with every casting now. Like you're gonna get the one trolley part of the internet that's gonna not like it, But
Damn
you just
shame.
gotta-
Keep it to yourself. I mean, discuss it, but don't attack the person who got the job. Like, good for them.
Yeah, it's not
Exactly.
their fault. It's like the whole thing with Starfire. Like, I feel so bad for that actress because
Right.
people are just going off, and it's like you haven't even seen what she can do yet. So why don't you bring it back a little bit, leave it
Yeah,
alone?
watch a show first.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
you based it off of one picture that could have just been like a backstage thing.
Mhm.
You never know.
Though I'm
okay.
not a fan of Titans right now.
No, I mean what we've
Thank
seen
you.
so far, even the
I'm not
one
a fan.
trailer that's out.
Yeah, I'm
you
not a
have
fan of
you
it.
have Robin, throwing the "fuck Batman" line, which it just seems so against his character, and it seems very super dark, and he's breaking people's necks and stuff. So we'll see how that
The
goes.
only thing that looks legit right now from Titan trailers is Hawk and Dove.
Oh, the little bit they showed.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
Their
showed
costumes look.
The
Actually,
costumes look
yeah.
really, really good for Hawk
a
and
couple
Dove.
of flybys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. But the fact that they punched through someone's head, I thought that was hilarious.
Right, totally. They're not letting up on the dark thing, that's for sure.
Oh no! Plus, this week they also announced Doom Patrol animated
That's right.
TV series for the DC All Access.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Trying to
casted.
load up on some content.
Yeah, they casted the voice for Cyborg, so it's a new Cyborg again for the Doom Patrol, which is weird.
What, 3 cyborgs?
Yeah, we got like 3 or 4
cyborgs in?
cyborgs floating around.
And
I
so,
just-
Sam,
Oh,
you
go ahead.
confirm this will be an animated series.
Yes, that's the animated
Okay.
series. Doom Patrol's animated. So's Harley Quinn. So's Swamp Thing. And I think that's all they announced for now.
And
for
this is all
animation.
going on their subscription.
Yeah.
DC All Access.
But the cool thing though, they got me the fact that I can watch the shows, the older movies, and read all the comics. So I'm like, oh, take my money.
Yeah.
it's
If they
good.
keep adding to it, I'm gonna, consider it.
I'm just excited for the classic stuff.
like
I don't really care
$7.
for the newer stuff.
Yeah,
That just
I didn't know
kinda
they were
sucks.
going to put classic stuff.
Yeah,
on there, so
like-
that might be
A selling point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
so-
they're re-releasing the original Batman animated series from the
Yeah.
90s, like in HD. So like
Yeah.
that alone, I was like, you got my money.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I've been wanting to
I think I
rewatch
just buy
that whole series.
the box set instead of the subscription service.
The Blu-ray set does look pretty
I'm just
sweet.
not sold on the stuff that they're announcing, and it's not that I'm not happy that they're diving into some deeper characters. Like I'm excited for the Batwoman casting and for them to add that, but some of this other stuff, I mean, yeah, the Titans one just kind of turned me off. Like, oh, I don't know what they're doing. I'm not really sure about all the shows that they're trying to add. It seems like they're rushing and they're just gonna do the same thing that happened with the movies, like
That's why I'm worried, man. They seem
a little
to be
too
rushing.
watered down. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Kinda
stretching
loading
yourself
up.
a little thin.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely possible. They do have to promote their All Access, and kind of like Netflix, they just buy up a lot of stuff and throw it out there at you.
See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. See if anything sticks.
Well, it's in Jim Lee's hands, so I trust him. I
trust Jim Lee too.
Yeah, I
He's the
trust
man.
him.
It's a Birds of Prey. That's still coming out too, right? In like in a couple of years, they announced I think Black Mask as a villain.
Yeah, for the live action movie.
Interesting.
That's pretty cool.
That'd be cool
Black
to see.
Mass is nice.
That's a character I'd like to see in live
There's-
action.
Used villains.
Did any of you guys watch the original Birds of Prey TV show that was on CW?
No.
For like
Definitely
6
not.
episodes.
I think that got canceled before. I
Definitely
even
not.
like,
It was on for like 6 episodes, dude.
Yeah.
I sat through the first 2. I'm like, why?
like this is not.
Why
my
would you do this to me?
It's not my bad. All right, moving on from that one. We got some news on some movie stuff. Star Trek 4 is now on pause because Chris
Money
Pine
dispute.
and Chris Hemsworth don't want to take a pay cut.
Hemsworth? He's going to be in
yeah.
4?
Apparently, it's a rumor that he was going
Well,
to meet his father.
he was in the first one.
again. That's,
I thought he died.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to do some
Like
crazy
technically,
time travel
they've
stuff.
They've already,
or,
time travel is
Yeah.
totally
Oh,
a
that's
Star
true.
Trek thing.
Right. Remember
So,
Star Trek.
Time travel is everyone's sci-fi movie best friend.
That's right. You can reach
I mean,
That's
let's
good.
Kaela's right
think
there,
about
you
this
hit it.
here too, because Star Trek 4, the original Star Trek 4, is the time travel episode, or is the time travel movie
I
where they
didn't
go
think
back
about
in
that.
time to save the
Save the
whales.
whales?
Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite, just because it's so like cheesy and horrible that like I need
you
everyone
still
to
love
watch
it.
it.
You still love
Yeah,
it. You know what I mean?
exactly. So now if they're gonna bring back time travel
You're
for
like-
Star Trek 4 again,
I'm all
it only
aboard.
makes sense, right? Like,
Space whales.
It could be worse. They could time travel to save, was it Operation Dumbo Drop? Just send them back in time to save an elephant.
To save that terrible movie.
It's random, Mike.
Is that a Bill Murray reference? So what do you guys think about Star Trek 4? Like, who are they going to take on as a lead if they don't get Chris Pine? Like, are they just going to
Nah.
stall
they
out on
better
this?
get
They're gonna
Chris
get Chris
Pine.
Pine.
They have to, man.
They're going to get Chris Pine.
I mean, he's the new Kirk. He's been there, for the first 3 movies. Like,
Yep.
why are they going to just like drop him all of a sudden, try to replace him or do anything else at this point? Plus, where the last movie left off, I'm like, he's obviously still the lead.
Yep.
Like, they can't
Yeah.
just like go around
If
him.
anything,
Drop it,
those 2 guys could get maybe a better deal on the back end. Maybe not a paycheck up front, but a better deal on the back end.
Like with
You would
DVD
think.
sales and all that stuff.
Yeah. You know
With
what I
it
mean?
being like a franchise type movie now? What
Yeah.
do you think, Gagne?
I'm feeling very negative about it.
Right.
So
Well,
I honestly, like, the last one was enjoyable, but it was not great. I thought the first 2 were fantastic, and this one was just like, And I'm starting to get that same feeling, like, that they get to that end of the run where if they're not going to get a really creative story, and maybe this was going to be that, but if you're already having issues now and production's going to halt because of finances, and you start to think it's going to become like maybe they do have to pivot and they don't have Kirk in there, or maybe they do change the story to save some money, and then that's where I start to worry, like, okay, well, I don't again want to water down Star Trek. Like, keep the cast together, keep the production going the way it was going, and I'm in. But
that's a good point. We've talked about franchise fatigue before, and this could be the point of no return. Maybe these characters or the actors, start bailing, on the movies. When does it stop? Has the line been crossed?
right, as cheesy and fun as Voyage Home was, like, I don't want them to get to that point. Like, I don't want to see these characters done that way, like, because I loved the fresh take on it, and yeah, I would rather them just stop if they're not gonna
Yep. Yeah.
have some big budget, awesome story that's gonna blow you away.
I agree. Go out when you know you're on top. I think that's pretty hard
and-
for a movie franchise to do nowadays because they're raking in money, so they just pump out sequels.
Transformers.
Yeah.
The
Fast and
biggest
Furious.
offender.
I knock on Transformers a lot. So
But
So
I'm
like
still
I don't know
excited
if
for
you guys
Bumblebee.
already touched on the Picard thing.
we did a little bit
last
last
week.
Okay,
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
We're
like
excited.
I'm real excited about that too. Since
we're-
we're on Star Trek, like
Totally.
that's
Picard
definitely
was my
up there.
captain, and
yeah,
that
same.
was my series, and we talked about it. Like I grew up with that, like learned a lot of values and morals from Picard specifically. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm super excited to see him come back and lead another show like about Picard even. So
Right.
yeah, definitely cool.
Do you think they might start implementing some of the next generation characters into the movies? Like if they kind of sway away from the Kirk route?
They could maybe pivot from Kirk and go to Picard.
Yeah,
They
That's
might.
Picard.
I mean,
Might
I
get
just
a young
don't know
Picard.
who they would get to be Picard
Patrick
because how
Stewart.
can you possibly not have
James
Sir
McAvoy.
Patrick Stewart?
Yeah,
like
McAvoy?
That's gonna trip a lot of people.
That would fun. That would
Wait.
be funny though. He would have to go full Picard, not the ball.
But I think
with
he's
the,
too buff.
Yeah.
I think he's too buff right now to be a Picard.
Yeah, young
from,
Picard, man.
Split.
Look, Chris Pine. He doesn't look like Shatner.
Oh,
They could find somebody that would be interesting. I'd be down to see that. All right, moving on from Star Trek. The they have a rumor of a new Bond. They've kind of been floating this around for a while, but they're talking about Idris Elba really taking over for 007. I think I haven't seen Luther, his kind of big show on the BBC, but apparently,
great
he's fantastic.
Show.
Have you seen
Great show, big time.
And does it lead to him being 007?
Like, he can definitely carry
Does that pull it off?
007. Yeah, he can definitely carry it off. Because, like, when you watch him in Luther, his character, like, he tries to break down all the crime scene. He's a very passionate guy. Like, he cares a lot about the victims. And just the way they wrote the show and the way he pulls off the character and the acting itself, it's beyond amazing. Like, I keep telling everybody, the top 2 shows on Netflix to watch is either Luther or Sherlock. Like, those shows you will not regret at all.
You like that one?
I love Sherlock.
And that was BBC as well, right?
Oh yeah, BBC America, dude.
Okay.
It's so good. The writing's so original, like, because when you watch Luther, you're trying to solve the crime with them. You're like, oh man, I didn't see that angle. I didn't see this angle. Like, it just keeps you guessing what's going on.
And he naturally has a British accent, right?
Yeah.
So he's got that part at least. So not a lot. Daniel Craig was the only, the one that had an actual English accent. All the other Bonds didn't. So at least he's got that. I think it's a great casting, with the times.
I'd be excited for it.
Think you would watch it?
Yeah, I'd watch it.
I want them to just book it and stop talking to Daniel Craig. I mean, last time he was like, "Oh, I would, rather be,
basically shot,
a torture chamber." Yeah, exactly. Than do another Bond, and then it's like, surprise, we're doing another Bond.
Right, right.
That's fine, and I'm happy with that. But like, they've been talking about Idris Elba for
years now. Yeah,
the guy is amazing. Like, I can't name a movie I've seen that he was in that I was like, "Ugh, I don't really like this." Like, the dude is legit.
Right.
And he was in the last Star Trek.
I'll give you one. The Dark Tower. What a fucking letdown.
But he was good. He was good as the gunslinger. So
that wasn't his fault. Dark Tower was not his fault.
Exactly. Like, he didn't write the movie and he didn't direct the movie, but he did play a good gunslinger. So
I will give you that. But it was an hour and a half of crappy action.
Adam is still upset, folks.
Man, that's one of my favorite book series of all time, and they just crapped on it, man.
That's
so Adam, what would make you more upset? You have to watch over and over again. Dark Tower or Last Jedi?
I felt that.
Oh gosh,
should have known that was coming.
Last Jedi. Yeah, Last Jedi. I hate that movie.
Really?
Yeah,
we enjoyed Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed. I'm part of like the small percentage that
the
actually
exits right there. The exits.
It wasn't that terrible.
Thanks for showing up, guys.
Thank you.
My bad.
See, I don't even
fill you
really
in
like
later.
Star Wars that much, so like
She's
I
a
feel like a
Trekkie.
lot of these new movies are a little more enjoyable. Although I didn't like the first one of the new trilogy.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah, that was not enjoyable for me.
See,
I
I
pretty
feel
much
like
started
that's
falling asleep in
The way
theater.
that this new trilogy is going, like some people like the 7 and don't like 8,
Yeah.
and then they, or vice versa.
Yeah, that's me. I liked Jedi and I disliked
Force Awakens. Yeah.
Well, this poor guy had to watch the movie like 4
Well,
times.
Did you?
Have to.
If you go back and watch episode 20, we did a Star Wars debate.
Okay.
And we randomly chose which movie we were going to defend. And,
Oh, no.
And I got The Last Jedi, so I had to defend, how great it was. And
Even though you hated it?
even though
Yeah.
I hated it.
Hey, that
which actually was
keeps you
kind
humble.
of which
It keeps
actually
you
was kind of
humble.
fun because I had to watch the movie a few times and watch the director's cut.
He even used the Rotten Tomato rating system.
And the argument was sound, but it made me hate the movie even more. So yeah, we won't. I digress. We won't.
Dude, I was lucky. I only had to cover episode 2, so it's like, cool. I got the easy
Attack
one.
of the Clones.
Yeah.
It's a terrible
not-
movie.
yeah,
I had the Phantom Menace. I had to turn that around and make it.
So your only argument was Darth Maul, right?
pretty much.
And Qui-Gon?
No, I had some things in there. Oh, you can listen to
Oh,
episode
dude,
20.
no. This was so political. It was so good,
was
dude.
political.
That's the most politically driven
Yes,
movie of
it
them
was
all.
good.
Trust
It
me.
was good.
Okay.
Yeah, go watch it. See what I'm talking about.
It was pretty clever.
No, I'm not
It
going
was
to
way
watch
ahead
it.
of its time.
Yeah. You're right. Double Sabers was ahead of his time.
Way ahead of his time. And now he's back.
Yep.
That's true.
So I got to go back to Idris Elba real quick. I was looking at his Twitter feed. 9 hours ago, he made a tweet. Says, "My name's Elba. Idris Elba."
Nice. That's pretty clever.
He's kind of playing on it a little bit.
What
But then also,
does
if
that
you-
mean? I don't know what that means.
Oh, it's a play on the James Bond thing where he goes,
Oh,
"My
no,
name's..."
I-
Well, yeah.
Freaking smart.
And then a few hours later, then he
Did you,
he tweets something that says, "Don't believe the hype." So
Don't believe the hype.
that's what he just 4 hours ago.
believe
He's just messing around with
Right.
the fans. See, I like him. He's interactive.
Well, see, I feel like at this point, when most people are like out there, as this role is probably going to go to this person, it usually goes to that person. Like like Joaquin Phoenix, we heard about him taking on Joker role months before it actually happened, and it actually did happen. I feel like this is moving in that direction where it's kind of already set in stone.
Yeah.
And they're already just kind of pushing it toward that movie.
They're just playing with the fans' feelings right now.
Yeah,
Give a little
definitely.
take, and then
Because that's what people do. They latch onto the smallest tidbit of news and they run with it and they freak out and they retweet it 20,000 times.
Dude,
and then,
same, yeah, definitely. Because same thing happened with Doctor Who when they first announced that Doctor Who was going to become a female. Oh, dude!
Yeah, the trolls come out.
The internet's exploded big time.
Well,
People
yeah.
couldn't comprehend that.
The internet's full of
People lost their
misogynistic
name
idiots.
over IHOP to IHOB, so
Totally.
let's be real here.
goes to
You
show
just
where the
can't
world's
escape
priorities
it.
Their burgers aren't that bad though. It's okay.
But nobody
only
goes there for
$6.99.
burgers.
No, they go for pancakes.
All right, so I think we all like Idris Elba.
I think we're
that's
good.
gonna be
I think we're
awesome.
safe.
Moving on from Daniel Craig, which I love, but they need to move on. Franchise fatigue is setting in there too.
Yeah.
Marvel, let's jump to Marvel. There's always something going on. This is actually more of Sony's interpretation of Marvel. They have a new name for their cinematic universe, and it is Sony's Universe of Marvel Characters.
They don't need to name it.
it flows right off the
Yeah, I
tongue.
There's no
feel-
universe yet, so they don't need to name
Right.
it. Like
I feel like they're latching on to like Marvel and DC
They're
now.
trying
to
too
do
hard,
their
dude.
own
They're trying too hard.
spin-off, right?
Sony just needs to relax, dude. Just do their thing.
Put out a decent movie first, and then we can talk about our other characters.
Yep.
Yeah.
I suppose
Yeah,
they
what do you
announced
think?
like a Craven the Hunter movie also, and like
And
a
a
couple of
Mobius.
things. And
Man,
Morbius movie
Morbius,
too.
Morbius,
Yeah,
Well, Morbius,
Morbius.
and they also announced the Silver and Black.
Silver and Black.
Well, I suppose they're the two separate movies now.
They're not-
Silver
they're
Sable's
separate.
getting
Oh,
their own
really?
movie, and
They're
Black
just-
Cat's
Oh,
getting their
it's
own
going
movie.
separate.
My question is like, why? Why do all these characters need their own movies? Like, these are all characters that I enjoyed through the Spider-Man world and all that. And the fun part about them is seeing them interact with Spider-Man. So, if you have an original take on an espionage movie, if you can do like Silver Sable and all that, make an original espionage movie. Don't just put a name on there just for name recognition. I just don't like that they're just using other characters and just going to write a film around it based without the main source characters. I don't know. That's just my own thing. I think they're trying way too much. But
well, they're using an unused, like not unused, but like unknown character like Silver Sable. So even if they're slapping a name on it, it's still kind of like they're doing their own thing.
Well, I really think they're doing something with Marvel, though, because I heard that they are willing to throw their characters into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So whatever characters that they're going to have on their film end, they can go ahead and make them appear in the Marvel Universe. Not vice versa, however. You're not going to see Marvel characters come up in the Sony-verse, whatever. But maybe this is their way of developing the villains, and maybe we'll see them in the Spider-Man movie eventually, because they did change the rated R rating to
Venom.
PG-13 for Venom.
Okay.
So they're probably kind of gearing maybe a little bit more lighthearted to try to make it mesh with this new
MCU.
Spider-Man.
Well, then
yeah.
how are they gonna put Venom into the Spider-Man universe retroactively? Because Spider-Man
I don't know.
creates Venom.
Well, here's my other question too. Also, how am I get my proper Carnage movie then? If you're making PG-13, you know what I mean? Like, because you make something like Carnage or Venom,
Yeah.
it has to be that pushing edge of rated R for sure. Because like you made PG-13 Carnage.
Marvel picked up Deadpool, so they're gonna have to
I'm
do
so
something with
excited.
that. You think they're
Like,
gonna keep it rated R?
I think they're gonna keep it rated
Well,
R.
then-
They will.
I think the
Then
one
I think
movie
they're
they'll keep
going.
is rated R because
I think they're gonna have to have like a separate studio that they're gonna
Well,
like.
they did it
make
before.
their harder, darker,
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
toned movies,
they,
right?
They did it before. They can do it again.
Right.
They
Because
will.
remember how Gagne mentioned Buena Vista used to be part where they distribute different types
Right.
of movies from Disney.
Just gonna have to wait to see what Venom does.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be great symbiotes. So we'll have fun.
I think
kind of on the
Sony
fence.
means poison in some other language because I
Not PlayStation,
long
though.
for the day that
That's true.
somebody buys out the stuff that they produce because they take properties and they were responsible for Dark Tower. They just take things and seem to mush them into a mess, and Venom seems to be that. And I know Marvel's working with them because they don't want to see their properties mangled.
True.
But it's still like, God, Sony just puts a hand on something and just turns it into stone. I'm like, stop. Just give it to Marvel. Just work out a deal. There's got to be some price point. Give them back their characters for fuck's sake and stop making movies.
That's always the solution.
Like,
right?
at least
Everything
these
back to
movies.
Marvel.
Fair deal.
I like that. Just give it back to Marvel.
Yeah,
Every
it's a
time their
solution.
name is associated with something, I start to cringe like, oh God, what's going to happen? And I'm like, let's give it a shot. And then ultimately I'm let down.
And then
Yeah.
ultimately Marvel makes a better movie.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree with you, Gagne. I feel like
There's a
Sony
reason
should just-
Spider-Man was so successful.
Yeah.
Marvel got it back.
Yeah.
I feel like Sony should just lease out the characters. Just get paid for the name
They
of the
can still make
character.
money.
Yeah, you still make money. Just lease it out. Don't.
They have
even
something
do
like
anything.
300 Marvel characters still licensed.
I think they can make
Wow.
it work.
300?
Look at the caliber of actors they have for a lot of these villain roles too. If you think about it, like just on Marvel's end, I mean, you got Michael Keaton as Vulture. You got Tom Hardy as Venom. Say what we will about him, but that's a big name actor right there.
Everybody
also.
wants to be in a comic movie now.
And then you got what's his face, Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio coming up too. Like they actually get some really good caliber of
Look forward
actors.
to
in here.
Mysterio.
So
Oh, yeah.
I
Well,
really hope
plus,
that they'll
plus
make
we
this
had Michael
work.
B. Jordan too at
Killmonger?
and he was so great.
That was a great casting.
Yeah.
He was such a great villain.
Yeah.
Because he actually felt for the villain. You're like, man,
Yep.
I'm rooting for him. This
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
it was a
I
great
agree with
casting.
that.
Well, hopefully they fix their stuff.
I don't think they will, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Let's wait when Venom comes out, our Halloween movie, because it's coming out in
right.
October.
Well, Venom, the CG looks cool. We'll see how the storyline plays out. We're on the fence about it.
I like the.
I'm also on the fence with that.
I like the Photoshop where they give him eyes.
the actual
the
eyes.
eyes.
It's creepy.
The little blue eyes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So
Looks like
funny.
a fish. I don't know.
Kind of,
like a
yeah.
blobfish. I don't know.
now
More,
I'm gonna watch
more
Venom and
angler,
see a blobfish.
anglerfish because he's got the teeth.
All right, moving on. The Oscars. They are making the news because they have a new category, which I hate, called popular movies.
Achievement in popular film, I think is
Oh,
what they're...
excuse me. Thank you. Achievement in popular film. So basically, this is for all the blockbusters and comic book
Superhero
movies,
movies,
right?
yeah.
That make a ton of money, that don't get any acclaim.
For anything.
That now they're going to have their own category, so they can feel special and get their Oscar, even though it's not going to be worth much. In my opinion, I think it's total waste of time. They purposely went, because of The Dark Knight, they went to nominating 10 movies for Best Picture.
Right.
And last year, they snubbed both Wonder Woman and Logan, even though they had an open 10th spot in that category. So it doesn't make any sense to me. And now they're pushing basically all these movies into their own category. Yippity-doo. What do you guys think?
You sound a little salty.
A little salty? Yeah, I know. I think it's retarded. But
Bullshit.
some people might not think so. So what do you?
Well, so far for me, the way they make it sound, right? I mean, it's nice to acknowledge comic book movies, but
Sure.
when you get the actual award, I don't think it's gonna have that much meaning unless you won from an original category. You know what I mean? Winning from this category, it doesn't have that much depth to it. You're like,
Sure.
oh, okay, I won because it made a lot of money. I won because it's popular. You have to win from the original categories. I think that has more oomph to it, personally. So this category is okay, but I just have to wait and see what's going to be the first one that wins this category.
And what's the criteria?
Yeah.
I mean,
Do
what
we
is
know?
it? Is it based on
Marvel.
verses? Is it based on so what do? You vote? How do you get to the 5 to 8 films, whatever they choose to do? And what does that mean? What does that award mean other than you're just trying to draw more audience to
like
watch
whoever
your
had the
telecast?
most viewers, yeah.
Right.
I think it's just like a glorified participation trophy.
Right.
Oh, there
You made
you
a
go.
movie.
Yeah, that's perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it just feels
It's
like a
a-
bullshit excuse to not acknowledge, movies that are good that deserve the credit, but because the Academy has such old perspective on films that they're not going to acknowledge them. Well, like here you go. Here's what you can
Here's
get
the
acknowledged.
category
And
for
it's-
comic movies and fantasy films,
it's
and
if it's gonna be based off like how much money it made, then all right, cool. Fast and Furious finally has a chance to make a Best Picture, and like Transformers
Just
and all
put
that
that in
crap.
perspective.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
just
say
like
Fast and Furious and Oscars.
So are you
in the
saying
same
Michael Bay has a
sentence.
chance now?
yeah,
Oh, no.
best director Michael Bay. There you go.
Most explosions in a movie? Sure. Yeah.
It sounds like an MTV Movie Award. That's what
Right.
it sounds like.
It
honestly.
does. It
Kids'
really
choice.
does.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this is popular with the kids, so there they go. It's bullshit. I don't like it at all.
The last movie that won Best Picture and had the highest grossing movie of the year was Lord of the Rings: Return of the King in 2003.
Wow.
Now, before that, when the first movie, Lord of the Rings, got nominated, that was a huge accomplishment because of its genre.
Right.
And fantasy
fantasy.
films were basically snubbed at the Oscars for all time. So when that actually won, it did seem to shift. But then if you look at the winners from then on, they're all low-budget films that didn't make a whole lot of money, and it ended up, taking home the Oscar. I was not a big fan, like last year, Shape of Water. Did not like that movie at all.
The fish porn?
Yeah, and it didn't make a whole lot of money, and yet it still won Best Picture over, say, 9 other movies,
Because it was the best picture. But,
including Well, in your opinion.
Hey, if you don't have a disclaimer on your comment, I don't get one on mine.
Well, Logan was not nominated, which it should have been.
It really should have.
It actually
Agreed.
did get nominated for best
Original screenplay.
Which it didn't win, which I thought it should have.
But
but
it's
its
so lovely
nomination
if it won, dude.
Yeah, its nomination was precedent too.
Yeah.
But back to this popular category. I didn't think I got Gagne's opinion. What do you think?
I'm for it. I'm for it. I think it's a start, but it's not the right start. Like I said, I'm curious about the criteria. I think that it makes sense why they're doing it, but they don't need to do it this way. Widen all the categories so that more things can be included, so that these films aren't just winning technical awards, and they start winning more. Writing. They get more nominations. Again, you went to 9 yet last year, which was weird because they had already expanded it to 10. So why wasn't there? Why wouldn't you just throw Wonder Woman in there for an even 10? Like, why wouldn't you throw Logan in there? I do agree with those. Those are movies that should have been nominated last year, and you can see that they hit with more audiences than some of these other films, and so include it because one, it's going to draw more people to your telecast, and two, like, this wasn't a bad movie. Like, you can't just argue and say like, oh, it doesn't belong in there because it's not as good as the rest of these films. Maybe not to you in your opinion, but a lot of people like this film, and a lot of people who like this film also like these lower grossing films. So you can't just say it's a popular film. It's a start, but it just seems like a weird start to do it this way. But I'm happy that they're including more stuff. I don't know. I'll wait till I see what makes it in that category before I'm like, this didn't work.
Yeah, like it's just a complete write-off.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see. The most popular movie is what's that? Look, Sam. Sorry.
I just picture like the categories can be like between Marvel and a kids movie. So we could see like a Marvel movie fighting up against like a
Pixar.
Lego movie, Pixar, or like a Peter Rabbit movie.
Because
like,
animated
Peter
movies get the
Rabbit.
snub too.
Mm-hmm.
As far
They
as
get their own category.
That's true, but they're pretty much snubbed on like Best Picture. You'd never seen an animated movie nominated for Best Picture.
Except for
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I think that actually won that year. Did it?
I don't know who won. It was definitely nominated.
As far as
I
Best
don't
Picture,
think it
I don't
won.
know.
Or was it?
I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Please hold.
Yeah.
Fact check.
Yeah, please hold.
You can carry on then.
Just a couple of last things on that. I just noted a couple of popular movies that lost. E.T. was the highest grossing film in 1982, but lost to Gandhi. Avatar, highest grossing film in 2009, but lost to The Hurt Locker.
That's fine. I hate Avatar.
Only made $20 million.
I'll agree with. I wasn't a big fan of Avatar.
But it did make something like $900
It did.
million.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
so,
like,
and then it lost to an indie
and it
film.
lost to
Yeah.
like super indie film. It was Hurt Locker was like one of the lowest grossing
Yeah.
top movies of all time, like $20 million.
Yes.
Hardly anything.
Didn't know that.
And then of course The Last Jedi lost to The Shape of Water. So which,
Last Jedi. Was
So you're saying The Last Jedi
No,
should
The
have
Last
been
Jedi.
nominated?
no,
I was about to say Last
No,
Jedi was
no.
nominated. For
Oh,
Best
okay, I was
Picture.
just checking.
But it was the highest grossing film of that year.
Right.
Okay, so I found it. It was only nominated for Best
Okay.
Picture. It was also the first animated film to be nominated Best Picture, but it lost to The Silence of the Lambs, which
Oh, that's fair.
makes sense.
That's super
100% fair.
That's a good loss.
Yeah, it was also nominated against Bugsy, JFK, and The Prince of Tides.
Ooh,
The Prince of
that's
Tides.
I
tough
think,
battle.
I think the right winner won.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one.
Yep, that was a good year. Oh, look at that. Okay. Anyways.
I think my friend John and I still have arguments over Gladiator, and he always hated.
There's no argument
He never
there.
watched that one, but what was it?
Moulin Rouge.
Moulin Rouge. Yeah, Moulin
Yeah.
Rouge the same year.
Gladiator is always better. Sorry.
Gladiator.
Yes.
That would be the best running joke ever. Every time he argues, be like, "Go watch Gladiator."
His argument would probably be like, Gladiator should have been in the popular movie category.
Oh.
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 All right, moving on from the Oscars. All right, our last thing here before we get into our interview.
No,
We have our No Outside Flicks Allowed category, which we have been watching Netflix movies. This one, The Legend of a Whitetail Deer Hunter. It was a father-son bonding movie, all about hunting and dick jokes, starring Josh Brolin trying to reconnect with his little millennial.
Oh, Thanos.
Yes, Thanos.
Cable.
Okay.
Cable, trying to connect with his son through a hunting trip, all along bringing his friend, trying to videotape it. which was Danny McBride, his fellow videographer. This was a typical Netflix movie in that the ones we've been watching so far have not been great.
Hey, Extinction was good, dude.
It was different than I thought it was going to be. Originally, I thought it was just going to be like kind of like a right-wing gun joke comedy.
A hunting movie?
Hunting movie, yeah. And then it kind of, I don't know, it was fairly slow, and nobody actually got shot except for Danny McBride.
The very end.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
Spoilers, bro.
He took the shot, Danny McBride.
On
did.
accident.
But it did have some comedic moments. It was funny.
Really?
I wish they had gone more into like the videography part of it, like them making a documentary.
Yeah,
I thought that's kind of how it started, and I wish that's how it would have ended.
Yeah.
But then it kind of got to more of their bonding with him and his son, and his son was very annoying. But I'll let you guys kind of get into it. Kaela and Minh watched this too, by the way.
Unfortunately.
Jump in there, Minh.
It was horrible. Like, none of the characters were likable whatsoever. Josh Brolin was
Alpha
going
Dad.
from like Cable, Thanos, and now this. Like, what are you doing? The little kid, I wanted to reach into the TV and choke him.
Yeah.
There was pretty much not a moment that he was
likable.
Likable.
Yeah,
at
no.
all.
Danny McBride was pretty
Redeemable.
much the only character that had any sort of like, you kind of feel for him, like a few points, but then you're also like,
But then he throws a dick joke in, and then
you're
where did that
an
come from?
immature, like gross jerk, like you're showing
Shows-
gross pictures to a 12-year-old.
Running
Like,
train on your wife.
Just
Like, what
you
do
really should not be this kind of guy, like around a 12-year-old.
Right.
It was super inappropriate.
they were
But yeah,
buddies.
it was just not great.
Just the car ride alone, where he was just making like jerking off jokes.
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
kid.
So it was
like,
kind of awkward. It was. I feel like
I laughed.
don't know.
I'm
Feel
sorry.
like if Eddie was here, he would be all for this movie. Go ahead, Felix.
I didn't hate it. It was definitely not great. It was short, so that was awesome.
It was
It was only
an
an
hour and a
hour
half.
and 23 minutes. No, the kid here, the wife pointed out, he reminded me of Ricky Bobby's kids in Talladega Nights.
Yeah.
Walker and Texas Ranger, just annoying ass.
Hopped up on
millennial
Mountain
kid.
Dew.
Yeah, dude, he was really fucking annoying.
But this one was way worse, though. He's such a little shit.
yeah, but
Yeah,
at
he's
least
just a little asshole.
Talladega Nights was actually a comedy where you're like,
Yeah.
ha, 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 you're funny. Now this is like kind of serious, but not.
Where
Yeah.
the kid was just annoying.
It
Yeah.
was just, like,
This is more the millennial wake up call movie though that
Yeah.
I pictured instead of what was that stupid ass movie How It Ends, like where
Yes.
you don't disguise it under a fucking end of the world disaster. Like no, this was like exactly that. It was a wake up for the millennial kid trying to be out there do the nature thing. But
Right.
I didn't really care. I guess it's not a very relatable movie for me. I've never been in the woods. Like I've never done anything like this.
It's very much for like country folk.
Yeah.
If if you're a
If you're into
hunter,
the
if you
hunting
go
thing,
out in the outdoors, like, and that's how you kind of subsist. Like that's clearly the dad's like lifestyle where, he goes out and that's what he does. He hunts. And so he's trying to bond with his kid over hunting, even though his kid doesn't care at all.
Right.
And
The kid would rather play music. on
yeah,
his
and
guitar
the movie
than-
was very predictable in the sense that you follow these people around and you're like, okay, dad and kid have issues. Now dad and kid get along at the end of the movie. Wonderful. Like we all knew how it was going to end when it started, just because that's kind of what they lean you
That's the
towards.
formula.
Yeah,
And in the end, it kind of had a moment that he was at the very end. Josh Brolin actually draws down on the deer,
oh yeah.
and then he thinks like for a second, maybe there's other things than hunting, and I can teach my son or whatever, right? And then he's like, no, fuck that, and you see him
Yeah.
pull the trigger, and that's the end of the movie. Like I feel like nothing was learned at all. Like,
Yeah.
there was no real like.
Yeah, it just sort of ended. I'm
Arc.
like, what was the
Hey,
what was the arc or moral?
There's
here?
one thing we learned that apparently you can take a blow up mattress, take it down the river.
Yes. It's
So
totally,
100%
apparently
not
that's like
realistic.
super strong.
it's totally
Apparently.
suitable for whitewater rafting. Ganya, you would totally use one of those, right?
Yeah, I'm planning on jumping on the river on one of those as soon as I get off this recording.
you got to get the double wide though. I think it was that real
Oh.
tall one.
A
Yeah,
little more
yeah.
sturdy that way. I mean, up in Oregon, at least you have rivers and trees.
Yeah. The unicorn floaties are all the rage right now. So
I'll
maybe
join you on that.
I'll start there.
Yeah, well, I'll come with you. I'll fly out there.
I skipped this movie. Honestly, I watched the preview
Oh.
and said I can't do it. I,
Really?
I was like, I
I'm not
will
gonna be
defer
Smart
to
man.
everybody else,
Smart
but
man.
yeah. Just
the
don't.
way Yeah, no, the way we've been going with these films, I saw this one. I was like, I just can't. There was nothing redeeming in the preview that I was like, yeah, I could give it a shot.
So as far as scores, what do you guys give this one?
I guess I'll give it a 6.
6 out of 10?
Yeah.
Jump in there.
I'd say like maybe a 4.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking-
I was about to go 5.
Perfect.
Getting lower,
Yeah.
getting lower.
Pretty low.
I was gonna go 5 on this one.
I'll go 5.
5, Gagne.
Cinco.
No score.
You didn't watch it.
Oh, that's right. You didn't watch it.
I'd give it a 6 if he actually fell off of that rope bridge.
Yeah.
Totally.
It was just extremely forgettable. Like, honestly, when it ended, I'm like, I already kind of forgot what was going on with this.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was glad it was only an hour and a half.
Yeah,
So,
it was short.
Hour and a half, I'll never
Positive.
get back. Jeez.
well, now you've been warned, audience. Watch it if you dare. Let us know what you think.
So what are we picking for this week then?
I don't think we have anything on the list as of right now.
I'd recommend The Ritual. I saw that recently. It's a pretty decent horror movie. I don't know. Check out the preview on there. It's about a couple, bunch of friends when their friends is
Is it
murdered.
a good horror or is it one of those cheap horror movies?
No, it's actually decent. There's actually something there. It's not just one of those like, oh, what's in the woods? And like, we're not going to see it ever. Like, no, you actually get to see it. No, well, they
haven't
actually
covered
do
that
get lost in the
genre
woods.
Yeah, we actually haven't covered the horror yet.
I'd recommend it for you guys if you want to watch a pretty decent horror movie. It actually kind of kept me on edge for the most part. And
Okay, I'll check it out.
By the end of it, it was, I felt it was better
So
than
what was it
most
called
things.
again?
The Ritual.
Ritual. Any actors that we know of?
No. Absolutely not. No.
Perfect.
Like I said, a bunch of European guys, one of their friends dies, so they do this thing in the woods just to kind of do it in his honor, and then they get lost in the woods and hilarity ensues. There you go.
Hilarity ensues
Yeah.
or horror ensues?
It depends on
Little-
your perspective on hilarity.
Okay.
People
Well, this'll
tripping
be-
over branches. That's pretty fun.
It's pretty accurate. Somebody does trip.
When you say hilarity ensues, I'm just picturing the Benny Hill music, when they like run around and get lost. The Benny Hill music from back in the day. That's just hilarious.
Not that quite lighthearted, but yeah.
I'll definitely check it
Scooby-Doo
out.
Movie? Is that what
Yeah,
this is?
exactly. That's what I'm picturing now.
Yeah.
Well, we'll check out the Ritual. If that's the one we're going to do, we'll throw it up.
If you guys want to, this is my suggestion.
It's got to be better than this last one. So we got 4. I think that's the lowest one we've
I
had
could
so far. So.
being as a person who gave it the highest score, then yes, I can definitely say it's better than this.
Very good. Anyway, the Legend of the Whitetail Deer Hunter. Yeah, check it out.
Maybe.
Don't check it
all right,
out.
guys, we are there at the point of no return. This is the interview part with Minh and Kaela. Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here. Obviously, again, you guys are representing Critical Care Comics. Tell us a little bit about that. Let's start there.
Do you want to start or should
No,
I say it?
you go.
All right.
You're
well,
the ambassador or whatever.
kind of.
Is that your
Anyways,
job title?
yeah, I'm the ambassador of hero relations. We'll get into that. Critical Care Comics. It started with our founder, Jason Golden. He was in the hospital, and the gist of it was his parents would bring him comics every so often. He'd kind of delve into that realm of comics while he was in the hospital. So it took him out of being in that.
Got to stay entertained.
Yeah.
So,
He's recovering from cancer, so
A lot of time laying
you're
down, right?
spending a lot of time there, and it sucks, and no one wants to deal with it. So it gave him kind of an escape to get rid of his thoughts about, okay, I'm sitting through all this cancer treatment.
chemotherapy and all
Now
that
I can, read about all these heroes saving the day, and it just kind of makes everything a little easier, or it made it for him at least. And he did survive. Obviously, he's around here now. He's our president.
What?
Shut up.
So now he just kind of wants to give back. So, he knows how the kids feel in the hospital, so he wants to be able to give them a smile for 28 pages. That's
Sure.
a little tagline. So,
Absolutely.
So then he got some cosplayers in. It started with Batman,
I think they had a Spider-Man at the beginning.
Spider-Man, a Batgirl, a Supergirl, and then it's just
it
gradually
slowly
grew.
growed.
So we have like upwards of 20 people in our group now.
They all cosplay?
Most of
Not
them do,
everyone.
There's
Yeah.
actually like 6 or 7 that don't cosplay, but the rest.
But they're
of
all
them actually
volunteers,
do.
right?
Yeah, they're all volunteers. We have like Kayla's Lady Thor.
Yep. Yeah.
We have a mix of A-list characters to like D-list characters, and I kind of like that just so that we can give the kids a little bit of a wider view of how many characters are out there. So
yeah.
It's not always just Batman and
yeah, it's
Spider-Man.
not just
Right,
they're-
yeah.
I mean, they're the most popular. All the kids are like, oh my god, it's Batman. No, Deadpool's better. Get out of here.
He is Deadpool, so he might be a little bit biased.
Sure.
No, yeah. We'll usually like, go in the hospital rooms, 5-10 minutes, hang up with the kids, depending how receptive they are of us, and
Okay.
we'll ask them simple questions. Who's your favorite superhero? What do you do for fun? What do you like to study in school? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll kind of force Deadpool on them.
Of course.
a little bit.
Some
Gotta
kids
have
are
some
really
comedy.
excited, and a lot of times they'll tell you all about their life because some kids just are that way. Other kids, sometimes you go in and it's a lot rougher. They don't want to talk at all. You kind of just say hi, you give them the books, and you walk out and you say, "Hope you feel better."
Right.
And that's the day.
And that's hopefully that's
yep. And
something
hopefully
that's
it's
gonna turn 'em
something.
around. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really nice for the parents too to see other people come in and just kind of hang out with their kids. There's one with a story about Spider-Man where a little girl didn't use her hands while she was in the hospital the whole time, and then he comes in and starts playing on the piano with her, and she starts using the piano, and so the mom starts crying, and it's like, that's nice.
Yeah, the superheroes really turn people around.
Yeah.
It's just inspiring
It's
for you guys.
so
to-
wholesome. Like it just makes you feel real good. And
I was gonna say, how does that make you guys feel
Yeah.
as cosplayers? to
I'm
go
glad
in
I
there
have the
and-
mask on most of the time.
Right? You get a little emotional.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah.
You're like, you can't see me crying under this mask.
Yeah.
You see my tears.
It's just sweat, guys. It's just sweat.
It's hot under this mask.
It really is.
it actually is. He gets real sweaty under the suit.
It becomes
but-
sweat pool after
yeah.
a while.
But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, and honestly, like it feels good to make those kids like stop thinking about that for a little while.
Yeah.
And it's great. We are 501c3, so it is fully nonprofit. We have all the paperwork done and everything. So like, it's not like we're taking donations and running with your money. We're not taking books and like going home with all of them. Like we don't do that. It's fully like recognizable charity. And it's just a lot of fun. And a lot of times you will see a kid that they didn't know who Captain Marvel was. Like we just had a visit where that happened. Like they didn't know who she was. And she came in and like talked to the kid for a little bit. And then it was like, oh, I really like this character
Like,
now.
I got a new favorite female
Yeah,
superhero
exactly.
that I can look into, right?
So, and like a lot of kids, I'm Jane Foster's Thor. So a lot of kids don't necessarily know who that is, but I have the hammer. So they're like,
Are you Thor?
You're a girl Thor? I'm
Right.
like, yeah, there's actually a lot of Thors, and Thor can be a girl too, and that makes a lot of people really happy. Like sometimes you find little girls and they're just like, I didn't know Thor could be a girl, but that's the coolest thing ever.
Right.
So
Boom, smile.
yep.
Yeah.
Boom, smile. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep, I want to be Thor when I grow
Yeah,
up.
for sure. So how did you guys get started with them?
Kayla got there first.
Yeah, so it was we were at a comic convention. The Batman that used to be part of the group was out kind of walking around, and we found him and kind of went back to his booth. He was doing like a thing where you give him a password. So we had found him walking around and gave him a password. He's like, all right, come on back to the booth. So we went back and they talked to us for a little bit and let us know what they do. And they said, we are looking for volunteers if you guys ever want to do something like that.
Were you in cosplay at this time?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
I was actually in not Thor, obviously. It was I was in my Aqua Girl costume, so not really kid appropriate. The one that I do is like basically a bikini top.
Some seashells, right?
Yeah. So
It was
very
an orange bikini top.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's scale mail. I wove it, so it has like the metal scales and everything. It's really cool, but definitely not something I wear to the hospital ever.
Sure.
But a lot of times people have more than one costume. So if you know a cosplayer, it's like, okay, well,
What else
do
you
this
got?
thing. Yeah, what else do you have? What else are you willing to do? And so we went over and talked to Jason and Batman at the booth and basically said, yeah, we'd be interested in at least learning a little more about what you guys do. So they invited us to a meeting. And then it was a little rough at first. I was still full-time in school and working part-time to kind of pay for things.
Sure.
So I didn't get to go to a lot of stuff right off the bat. But after a little bit of time, started going. And then I actually got a message asking for Deadpool because we had a specific request for a child that the parents were like, Deadpool is her
his favorite.
favorite. She's a teenager. Like, we'd really like to have Deadpool come in. This is like a big deal. So they asked me if he'd be willing because he's been Deadpool for a long time. So if
So
he
you
could
already
pull
had
it
a suit by
off.
then.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But so they asked if he could pull it off without the guns, without the profanity, because obviously this is a hospital with a bunch of kids in it.
You're like, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, really, though?
So I was like, honestly, I think as far as Deadpool, like a lot of cosplayers do a pretty good job with the vamping and everything, but a lot of times it's very vulgar. But I know Minh, I obviously have been with him for a long time at this point. So I was like, I think he could do this. I don't think that would be an issue. Let me get you in contact with him. You guys can work everything out. And then he joined in, and a year later, he was actually given a trophy for our top
Cosplayer of the
cosplay
year.
volunteer. Yeah, cosplay volunteer of the year.
And a title.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
they created like this whole group where it's It's me and our Flash. We like recruit more cosplayers, so we're like ambassadors of hero relations. He made up the name.
He's like, I
Not a
don't
fan
even,
of
I
it.
don't even know.
Just want to be the guy.
Though. Like, so you guys go to a lot of conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously, I've seen you guys have booths. You're
Mhm.
promoting critical care at
Yeah.
the conventions. What's your favorite part of doing that? Like,
Part of the booths or
the
just part of-
convention itself and the booth. Like, what do you get out of seeing all those people?
It's just putting our name out, I guess. Just because a lot of people are just like, what do you guys sell? We're not selling anything.
Sure.
Like we go to hospitals and like, oh, that's so cute.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of times it's the general reaction you get from the public, like, oh my gosh, that's such a great thing that you guys do. Like, people don't necessarily realize that those groups are out there, and there's more than just our group. Like, obviously, there's in other states all over the country, it's becoming a more popular thing because superheroes are becoming more popular. You know, we were just talking about the fact that MCU's taking off, DC's taking off. You have all these superhero movies coming out, and kids love that. So you wind up with a wider array of kids that, love all these superhero characters. So it becomes easier and easier for charity groups to do more work and to help kids out by bringing those characters to the hospital. So, I mean, I've seen all kinds of stories where there's princess groups and...
there's in Vegas alone, there's like 3, 4, or 5 of them.
Yeah.
That go. There is a Star Wars group as well.
Yeah, Star
Do you
guys
guys
so
ever like compete? Like you're at the
No.
hospital and you're like, oh, we got to battle to the death
It's
now.
our territory.
Yeah.
That's
DC and Marvel. And
Yeah.
Do you guys ever run to the Star Wars group, the 501 first?
Yeah, they're at most of the conventions that we're at.
Yeah.
For the most part, really nice guys. Like, we've never had a bad time with any of them. Obviously, our specific group is just superheroes.
That's cool.
So we don't cross any kind of weird line. Like, we're not taking Star Wars characters. It doesn't make anybody
You're not
like
taking
feel
their
I
weird.
would
business.
like
Yeah.
to
Right? I know you got
bring
one.
Chirrut
So,
in the
actually,
freaking
yeah.
hospital.
This brings me to, I know you do multiple different characters.
Yeah.
What are some of the other ones that you guys do?
Well, I've done Deadpool.
You do Chirrut, obviously. You just
Yeah, I
said
do
that.
Chirrut. Iron Fist, the White Ranger, Green Arrow, Hawkeye. I can't forget Hawkeye.
You do have Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's my guy. Hawkeye. Yeah, Hawkeye. I love Hawkeye.
Yeah. I've got.
Min's a part-time archer.
Yep, he is. He
That's
actually
true.
does shoot, so it's a lot of fun.
cool.
I have Gwenpool. She's one of my favorites right now.
I like that one.
Obviously, Aqua Girl. I was just talking about that. I still wear from time to time. I've done Black Canary.
My favorite.
Yes, I know she's your favorite. And
Fiction.
gosh, off the top of my head, those are like kind of the main ones that I've kind of focused on. I do a lot of anime stuff too. So outside of like comic book universe, I have this Hululu costume. It's from Kimono Friends. So a lot of people heard the story. There's like a penguin that fell in love with Standee at a Japanese zoo. They put this cardboard cutout like penguin anime girl in the exhibit, and the penguin fell in love with it. So
Interesting.
that character, I did the costume of her. It was really cute.
Little
so
weeb.
Yeah.
Again, if Eddie was here,
Yeah,
he would
Eddie
know
would
what
know
you're talking about.
Yeah. So
I think I've seen you as like a Pokemon.
yeah, I did Alolan Raichu. That was my first, like, I came up with this whole concept because Alolan Raichu surfs on its tail. So I did it like as a surfer girl.
Right.
So that's a lot of fun.
And we're actually working on a Teen Titans one now.
Yeah, we're working on Teen Titans.
Nice. Who's
She's Tara,
who? Okay.
and I'm gonna
Okay.
be Beast Boy.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Very cool.
I wanted to
Yeah.
be Robin, but someone's already Robin.
You like being it.
He also is just such a Beast Boy, though. Like, it makes more sense for him to be Beast
Yeah.
Boy personality-wise.
But I can't turn into an animal.
Well, just bring like stuffed animals
Yet.
to throw them at people or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Yet, yes, exactly, yet.
And then I know you do a lot of mermaid type things. I know
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
really
So I'm
cosplay,
a
but-
mermaid. I've got 3 tails. 2 of them are Finfolk Productions. Really great company. Really high quality stuff. I actually have a gig later today, so I'll go be a mermaid after this, and it's for an adoption party, so it'll be a lot of fun. Just play with a bunch of kids, swim around in the pool, and yeah, it's a fun time. Like, I mostly do it for myself, honestly. Like, it's just a hobby, but it's an expensive hobby, so it's kind of nice
No
to
doubt.
do little parties here and there, and
Actually get to use it.
mm-hmm,
of
exactly.
And then you seem like, if you're very caring, you got these kids that, obviously are going to be there. Hopefully they like mermaids, and obviously you're looking to get the smiles from them. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that's awesome. Yeah. Cool. Anything else for these guys before we move on to the favorite section?
I don't want to do the favorite segment.
I just want to say thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I admire people who can give back in such a worthy cause, and I mean, really appreciate the work you guys are doing, and I'm looking forward to hopefully donating a big box of comics to you guys, and
that'd be
getting
nice.
out there hopefully
Thanks,
with
man.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Speaking of which, I did bring a pile of comics for you guys.
Oh,
for your group.
yay.
Gasp.
So yeah,
We always love comic book donations. Monetary is great, but comic books are what we bring.
Right.
So comic books basically all go straight to the kids. So it's always nice, and we always run out of the big like top 5 type characters: Batman, Superman.
perfect. That's what I
all
brought you.
those guys,
I brought
yeah.
you the good stuff.
Can you tell us, Kaela, where to go to donate?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a link on our?
Yeah, we have Facebook, Critical Care Comics. Our actual website is criticalcarecomics.org. And
So there should be links on I
Links
think
to
either
donate,
or both
yeah.
of those to donate. If you do
Nice.
want to give a monetary donation, we always appreciate that. And,
if-
100% of it goes into the charity. So
And if you wanted to donate comics, I believe we have someone who you directly contact on the website.
yeah,
and
yeah.
Gotcha.
if you
He'll
just
let you know
contact
how to
us.
Where to ship them to?
give them to us,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah. So
And
Awesome.
if
Great.
people want to get involved as well, like as far as the charity part of things, could they contact you to
just
there
go
as
through
well?
the site. We have 2 different links. Depending on what type of you want to do as a volunteer, we have agents, which is what we call the people who go in just the shirts.
Yeah, the
and-
non-costume,
take
which
pictures.
we
Got the
definitely
clipboard.
need. Like if you're not comfortable cosplaying, but you want to help, like we are always looking out for those type of people, especially if you have a good knowledge of comic books, because we have a good size warehouse and we have to go through them all the time. So it's nice for someone to know, okay, well, these are kid appropriate. These are not kid appropriate. Let me, sort this stuff out, get them all set up by characters or whatever.
Okay.
So
Yep, and if you want to be a cosplayer, you'll have to contact me.
Hero relations.
yep, hero
No.
relations.
Just contact me.
Contact the ambassador.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that they can find you on Facebook as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. We love what you guys are doing.
Thanks.
Thanks
Very
for
cool
being
stuff.
with us.
Yeah,
All right,
thank
so
you guys.
on to the hard parts.
Oh boy.
The stuff not actually about critical care, but about you guys. Just want to
like
throw a
this
couple
part.
of hard ones at you guys. So
Oh.
favorite movie, favorite video game, favorite comic / book, whichever you prefer.
Yeah.
All right.
What's your favorite?
Let's start with
It's
favorite
so hard.
movie. I
It's
know it's
so
a tough
hard.
one.
Start with the worst one.
Yep.
So, if I have to narrow it down, it's
Legend
really
of the White
really
Deer
is
Hunter,
hard. No. Honestly, I usually like to pick Ponyo as that. Like it's a
Ooh,
Studio
nice.
Ghibli film. Obviously,
Awesome film.
yeah,
Yeah.
right? So obviously with the whole ocean thing, the mermaid thing, like it just really hits home for me. I love the music, I love the animation. It's just such a good film. It's a film that I literally can watch over and over and over again
So
and
easy.
never get tired of. Yeah.
Just the fact that the lore and the way it's animated and the voice acting is so amazing too. Because
Yes.
like when I found out it was Liam Neeson, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Right?
that is so awesome.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so good. But obviously I have a lot of favorite movies and there's just too many even to really get into. Like, you have to separate it into genres and
Oh, I
when we're
agree.
talking about holidays and all that
Yes.
stuff, it just gets crazy. But if I have to say like top one, if I could only watch one movie for like ever and ever, it'd probably be Ponyo.
Nice.
Very cool. What about you, Min?
I don't watch movies. I don't know. If I really had to pick one, I think it'd have to be Fist of Legend. I don't know if you guys Jet
With
Li's
Jet Li?
Fist of Legend.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, that movie actually got me really into martial arts. Like I watched Power Rangers. I wanted to be a Power Ranger, whatever.
Yeah, he is a
Yeah.
second degree black belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
So this is what started you on that path.
yeah,
huh?
Fist of Legend. Like I fell in love with Jet Li.
Oh, definitely.
Like,
That fight scene where he's in the room and it's
against
like
all the black belts. Yeah,
dude, that was a dope fight scene.
I-
It was so amazing.
I was on my couch when I was watching, and I jumped up and was like, "Dad, now!" So I wanted to do this now. Yeah, like people love Bruce Lee, Donnie Yen, obviously, and Jackie Chan, but Jet Li has always been like my role model.
Yeah.
So
Is
Fist
that
of
is that a subtitled movie?
there's a dub version, there's a subtitle version.
Okay.
It doesn't matter which one.
No, it's good though.
I mean, the dub kind of sucks. 'Cause The
It's
translations
all about
don't
the
work
fighting.
real- Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really about the fighting.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a moral behind it, but
Cool.
it's about the fighting. It's
all right.
all
Well,
about
we were
the
talking about Ip Man before we
Yeah.
started this, and I'm always on the lookout for a good kung fu flick.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
check it out.
definitely a good one to look
Okay.
at.
Ip Man's like a close second now.
Yeah.
So
Totally looking
it's
forward
fantastic.
to Ip Man 4.
Yeah.
All right. So favorite video game.
Mm,
This is also sort of hard, but honestly, I have to go to like Legend of Zelda. That's been like my lifelong favorite.
Sure.
And Majora's Mask is definitely my personal,
Okay.
my personal top of the top. But it's real tough for me, honestly. I like the new one, Breath of the Wild, and I really liked Skyward Sword. I know that one's like back and forth. Like some people hated it, some people loved it. I really loved Skyward Sword. Probably my least favorite out of all of those is Wind Waker. That's my personal thing. Again, same thing with that game. Like some people really hate it, some people loved it.
It was definitely different.
Yeah, it was very different. So, but yeah, Majora's Mask always like is my top.
What is it about Majora's Mask that you like?
It's got that kind of spooky feel almost, but like you're so rushed and it feels like you kind of hate yourself while you're playing it, but at the very end of the game, it's so worth it. Like just all the stuff that you learn, all the character development of these individual different NPCs through the course of the entire game. It builds this world so well. And so you almost feel bad every time you have to go back in time. Like you do the whole side quest for Cafe and then like, well, you had to go back in time. So now that's done over with. And it's just,
So you really
crazy.
enjoyed the time mechanic.
Yeah, I honestly like it's a love-hate relationship,
Sure.
but yeah, I really
Yeah.
do like that. And I know they probably won't ever bring something like that specifically back, but I kind of hope they bring more of that NPC development back. Because again, like I really like the fact that so many of the characters in that game have their own story, their own thing going on, and you're supposed to help them through that. Like there's the whole weird alien thing out in the field. I don't know if you played that game, but
Honestly, only the beginning parts because the time thing really got
Yeah,
me.
it's rough.
Like you said, it's a love-hate thing, and
when
I
I
don't think
play
ever
that
really
game,
got into it.
when I play that game anymore, like it's 100% with the guide. Like I just, it makes
You
it
don't wanna
easier
miss
and
out.
more enjoyable. I don't want to hate myself, so I play it with the guide. But yeah, there's this whole alien thing out in the field, and you have to get Epona back, and there's just so many aspects to this game that like it just makes it so great. So yeah,
Very cool.
I'd have to go with Star Wars: Knights of the Republic.
Oh,
That my first RPG I ever played,
sure.
and any other RPG I play, I revert back to Knights of the Republic. Like I can't play any other RPG because
Just kind of compare everything to that
Yeah.
now, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
Knights of the Republic is beautiful.
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like the plot twist at the end,
Oh yeah.
finding out your Revan and all that stuff like that.
Oh my god, spoilers.
spoilers.
My bad.
Oh my god, this game's like
If you haven't played it
15
yet,
years
really
old,
though,
you
like,
fail. It's kind of
and the fact that you get to play like light or dark, though I always went to the light side because I felt bad going dark.
of course, right?
Like, anytime I got like a dark side point and it was like that music that played and I was like, my bad,
reset.
didn't mean to. So
That was kind of the first game where you could kind of choose your own dialogue.
yeah.
Right?
Oh
And
yeah.
that kind of led it into BioWare's kind of new games and Dragon's Age and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, Knights of the Old was kind of that first classic RPG style where you could choose,
Yeah.
like, kind of choose your own adventure.
Speaking with like I tried playing Dragon's Age too.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get into it. So I played Knights of the World again.
Sure.
So-
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like a skin of
Yeah,
Knights of the Old,
yeah.
and that one was the original. So I think obviously one of the best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Very good game, man.
Yeah.
All right, so favorite comic or book?
You have to start with that.
You guys
one,
read,
'cause
right?
I
Yeah,
mean,
I read a lot. Yeah.
Kind of read. If you look at pictures, I guess.
Went through comics in there.
I guess the
First,
first.
totally legit form of reading.
I'd have to go. I guess Hawkeye's Matt Fraction run. I don't know if you guys read
Is
Matt
that
Fraction's run on that.
No, it's a specific arc.
Yeah,
recent one.
it's it. Hawkeye's always been like the most useless character, quote unquote. No one really likes him. But Matt Fraction kind of like goes more deeper into his story about how he became a superhero and his backstory with his brother and all that stuff. It was just a beautiful run. Unfortunately, it ended too early,
Sure.
but it's beautiful.
It was recent, right?
Yeah, it's about a couple years old.
Yeah.
And that one still holds dear to my heart because Hawkeye, that actually brought him back to the forefront.
I'm just kind of picturing. Is it like all the single issues? Are they kind of like purple and white?
Yeah, the
designs?
purple, white
Right?
designs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was right after House of M, I think, like when he died, I think.
No, it's a little bit.
It's
It's a little bit farther than that.
Further
yeah.
than that?
Further
Okay.
yeah, but
Big Hawkeye fan?
kinda,
Yeah.
kinda, sorta,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because he doesn't have powers, or what is it?
Yeah, he's just a normal guy,
Yeah.
and he's kind of like the moral compass of the Avengers sometimes. When
Kind of brings
Cap's
them back to Earth.
Yeah, when Cap's making this bad call and is like, no, this is how we should do it. No one listens to Hawkeye, obviously, but he has that voice, and then he's holding himself against, you know, the super soldier, a god, a monster,
Sure.
people with powers. So all he has is a freaking bow and arrow, and he's still doing stuff, you know. So
I love Jeremy Renner. He's got some of the best lines, like, you know, just a guy with a bow. You know,
that's all he does.
A guy could shoot you
So,
right now. Nobody would know.
I'm a little disappointed Infinity War didn't have him at all.
Oh, same here, dude.
right.
I was so
I
bummed
was-
out. I was like, where was he?
Like, it was just a side note. Like, oh, he's house arrest. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
you
it.
give him one line.
So hopefully I'm excited that he'll become Ronin. I hope.
Yes.
In number 4.
Right? That's all the rumors, man,
Yeah,
about him coming
I'm
back as Ronin. I was
So
like,
excited. It's
We're
a new
waiting.
cosplay suit I'm waiting for. So
There you go, right? Yeah.
here we go. But yeah, Hawkeye's always been my top guy. He got me into archery, and
He has the bow, or
Yeah.
2 of them.
I
Are
have,
both of them Hawkeye
because
bows?
the first Avengers movie, he has his bow was modeled after the Hoyt buffalo, and because of
Which
that,
is a type of bow?
yeah, it's
Okay.
a bow.
It's a recurve,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And I got the bow, and then Avengers: Age of Ultron came out, and I got his second bow.
You got a different bow?
Yeah.
You're like, well, you got to keep up with
I need to
times.
follow with Hawkeye.
Right.
So
Very
Neither
cool.
of them
Very
do
cool.
the
Oh, the
expanding
fold-out
thing.
thing?
Yeah, that's unfortunately not
That's too
really like possible
Feasible.
with a bow.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least not not
don't
yet.
say that. You don't say
Movie
that.
magic.
Yeah.
What about you, Kaela?
I'm gonna go with like a book in this case. I love my comics. I basically read all the books of the characters that I cosplay, which is part of why I cosplay them, because I like their books. But
As you should.
so I read a lot of like fantasy stuff. I really like vampires, so probably it's gonna be a tie. But Laurel K. Hamilton's Anita Blake series is really good. She kind of throws everything in there, so it's, you know, you got the vampires, the lycans, the shapeshifters, necromancers, like everything is just thrown into this universe. And the main character is this human woman who is like a necromancer as well. She goes out and like deals with the dead, and it's like a murder mystery kind of sort of thing, but then there's also all kinds of other crazy stuff going on. It's a really enjoyable read. My other top is Christine Fian's Dark series. So all the books start with the word dark. This is more like romance type series, like erotica.
It's not Twilight. But
Yeah, no, it's not Twilight. Actually, Twilight's 100% not on my list. Do not ask me about that book. It makes me very angry.
Okay, there's some salt there. I might have to
Yeah.
get into that.
I read all 4 of those books, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
Unfortunately, so did I.
Hey.
I read 3. I couldn't read the 4th one. I was so
were
like
done,
just
huh?
done. I was like, these are so bad. But
There were some redeeming qualities.
yeah, no. But the Dark series starts with Dark Prince, and hers is more of almost a more like taken back take on vampires. So she calls them Carpathians. They live in the Carpathian Mountains, so it takes a lot of place in Europe, and you deal with these kind of people that they've lived forever, for a very long time. The males start to lose color vision unless they find their like true love type of thing. So it's a very like lovey-dovey, very female. Like I said, it's erotica, so you have a lot of stuff going on, but
But it's still fantasy.
Stuff.
it's still
It's got
fantasy.
monsters.
It does have monsters, and there's a whole overarching story
stuff.
through the
And
course of
stuff.
all of the books. So I'm like 20 something books into this series,
wow.
and there's way more beyond that. And so each book has a new couple, but like I said, the story for overall
But same world.
continues in each book. So yeah, you have this big story for the whole universe that's going on, and then you have each individual story with each book. So I really, really enjoy those. If you like erotica, it's a great read, especially if you are into the whole vampire thing. I think they do a much better job than freaking Twilight.
the young adult novels now. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely a good one.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't read books very often.
No?
Like, I'm still like Loot Crate, I think, gave Ready Player One as like a book in there. I just started it because the movie came out.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to finish it because I just don't read.
I actually have that same edition
Yeah.
on my shelf that I haven't read yet.
No, didn't actually see the movie yet either. So
It was just okay. A lot of cameos. Yeah, it was cool
That's
for the
all
visuals. Yeah.
pop culture cameo.
Yeah,
That's about
exactly.
it.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. You have some great selections. Some stuff that I'll have to even catch up for sure. Thank you guys for being here. We're obviously big fans of what you do. We'll keep up with you. What's the next convention you guys are going to be in?
Vegas Fan Fusion. It's the first year they'll be here in Vegas.
Yep.
Critical Care Comics is actually going to be sponsored by them, I guess. So we're going to be their official charity for the event.
Nice.
Very cool.
Our graphic artist is actually going to make a one-of-a-kind print for them. So that I guess they're going to give out or sell there. That all the profits will go to
all their
us.
advertising for your group.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're just
yeah.
it's going to be us.
Awesome.
We're
What's
gonna
the dates for that?
September 20. It's like the third weekend of September.
Yeah, something like that.
I should have more information on this.
Yeah, you
I
should.
really don't. I'm not
Well, we'll
convinced.
put up some stuff on our website for sure.
Cool.
Yeah,
We're going
thank
to
you,
try and
guys.
hit up as many conventions as we can.
Definitely.
We'll definitely hope to see you there.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else before we finish up, guys?
I think we're good.
No,
That's
thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thank you guys again for
Thanks
your
for
time.
having us.
Thank you,
This was
thank
fun.
you. Yeah.
Absolutely. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's our
Thanks
first podcast.
everybody else for listening. You know, we'll be on next week. Check us out on nofashow.com and iTunes and all that good stuff. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. All right. Good.